Hi there. So I would like to introduce myself. I am Twinklebutt, and I am presenting Faraway Sister Haven podcast, where we interview indie authors and allow them a free place to let us know about their books. I will be presenting multiple authors with my sisters from Faraway Sister Haven. So, I hope you stay tuned. Welcome back, book besties. Today's podcast is where sass is sharp, the questions are bold, and the stories, they linger. We're diving headfirst into a world of magic, danger, and unstoppable power with none other than Timothy K. Clark, the brilliant mind behind Rise of the Dragon Witch and Revenge of the Dragon Witch. Get comfy and step into a world where magic burns bright and power comes at a cost. Let's get on into this sassy.
And with that opening, I just have to say something really quick. Like, I love how original your book is. Like, it's like you deep dive conspiracy theories on the internet and actually tied them together in a way that I love. Like, it was fantastic. It really was. And like, I had never seen some of the theories that you touched across. Like, I had never seen them in literature. And so for you to bring those to light was fantastic. And like, honestly, if you tried to tell me the earth was flat, I might believe it.
Have I got a story for you?
So we are talking about the Rise of the Dragon Witch. And I just want to say that I met Timothy Clark on Threads. I saw him put up that he wishes somebody would read his book. So I decided, well, that somebody can be me. And I went and bought his book on Kindle and read 3, maybe 4 paragraphs and finished it that night. It was that night. Or the night after. But
And it's a big book.
I lost sleep over this book. I did not want to stop reading this book, and not just because it's sassy, but because of the actual like adventure your brain goes through. So let's get into it. So this book, where to start? Start on this one.
Well, the only thing I would go into would be the author question. So why don't you go right ahead? Well, hold on. Because I
gotta tell a little bit.
Like, did you meet my sister before or after this book? Because if I was going to take a character and drop her in the middle of a fantasy novel, it would be this.
And now you see why I said I was relating to this book so hard.
It was after, actually, so yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know it, but you wrote me into your book. I was very much your lead character, and it hit home when I started reading it. I was like, where did you learn about me? Just saying, like, that is legit how me reading your book went. So this book is about power versus identity, trust and betrayal, found family, embracing parts of yourself others fear, feminine rage, and magical dominance. And of course, I was like, yes, please give me more. This is not your only book though, because then we have Revenge of the Dragon Witch, and I believe there's one more coming, correct?
Yep, I'm about almost halfway through The Fall of the Dragon Witch.
you have the other book that I still have to read. I haven't forgotten about you. And I forgot the name of it. What's the other book is a romance.
It's a vampire paranormal romance called The Pleasure Card.
Yeah, and can't wait to read that, because if it's anything like this, I'm probably going to sit there and see myself in that one too. No, for all of you who have not read The Rise of the Dragon Witch, I just want you guys to understand that you will be stuck after the first page.
It's really good.
It will draw you in, and then you're like, wait a second. I've been reading this whole time, because you will envision everything in your head. It is so uniquely vivid.
And there are aspects of the main character that anybody can relate to, really. And yeah, like it's fantastic.
I really have to say that I love the descriptiveness throughout the whole book. He really didn't leave much room for you to have to picture, because he put it all out there so beautifully. And I love that about it. Now, I've not been able to finish it because I got through the first few chapters and my daughter came and decided she wanted to read it. So I'm waiting for my book back. She took it.
Oh, man.
And I didn't even know she took it until she texted me a couple hours later and was like, hey, I forgot to tell you I took that book because I started reading it and I couldn't put it down. I'm like, I wasn't even done. So, yeah, that's where I stand there.
So that tells you how immersed in your book we were. I personally sat here and forced them to read your book, because they needed to be part of this world that you built, that you have no idea how intricate it became in my brain. Like, it took, you put me in a book slump for a second, and then the second book I just ate. I ate it.
Like, I loved the lore. There was so much lore written into all the text. Like, it's just the background of everything. You see so much crossover between Earth and Tyrannon, and like, it's, yeah, like, I love that part of it. Your world building is spot on.
Thank you.
So what was the original spark or seed for this book?
I'd actually just finished watching the Game of Thrones TV series, and I said, you know what, I'd love to be able to write an epic fantasy. Oops. I'd love to be able to write an epic fantasy, and I'm like, but I'm not smart enough to do that. I mean, I genuinely am not. I don't have the prose of a Tolkien or, you know, or George R.R. Martin or any of those guys. And I said, how can I do this and make it work? And I said, well, what if I take it or tell the story from the point of view of someone from our world who gets taken to that world? And so if she's describing things that happen in this world and she gets it wrong, well, then it's her fault. Because, oh, that's not a dragon, that's a this. That, you know, all those little details, it's up to her because she's seeing it for the first time. I even said, what if I wrote a book for somebody who doesn't like epic fantasy or has never read it and wants to get into it? Then this would be sort of a great way to sort of introduce them to worlds like this.
That it really would, because so far, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, so when I read book 2, because they have not read book 2, so I'm gonna give just a tiny spoiler if that's okay.
Yeah.
In book 2, no lie, I had a dream that I was being trained by the monkey. So that tells you, like, seriously, this book just, your whole heart isn't. You can tell how much time and effort you put into your book. I just want you to know that. Like,
Thank you.
The fact that I had a dream about a monkey training me, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say the rest of it, but that tells you how much in depth your book created in someone's mind.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, the coolest thing about it was almost every single city, every single kingdom almost every little bit of lore that you had in there was actually based on something that really existed here on Earth.
Yeah.
So somebody else's, like an East Asian myth for Kunlun and Shangri-La. Even the Black City is actually a Filipino mythological place, and it's all, there's Nordic, there's Greek, there's just a little bit of everything. I wanted to include all the creatures, all the character names, all of the city names, everything except for one seaport town, which I named myself because I thought it was a cool name. I just said everything's going to be from some part of our myth.
I can tell it was, and picking out all of those little nuggets for a fantasy buff like me it was fantastic. It was like I was reading a treasure chest.
Yeah. The hard part was not giving too much detail and diving into all of it. Like, I would do just enough research to give myself a little bit of taste, but if I started to go in too deep, then it becomes a big slog of 3 or 4 paragraphs describing this.
Yeah.
And so because she didn't know about it, the main character was not from this world, she didn't have to sort of explain it all out. They would just give her a name, and she's like, wait a minute, that's Camelot? Like as in the King Arthur Camelot? And they would just be like, yeah. And then they'd move on to the next thing. And she's like, they already knew it all. And she's going, but.
Wait a minute. Look, I could look, you already know this. I will preach about your book till forever, okay? Like,
for hours.
I seriously, I know we're doing this giveaway. I about cried because I didn't want to give up this copy, and I will get me another copy. But I was so immersed in your books that I just wanted to say that I don't think you realize how great this book actually is. As a vivid fantasy reader, I've read tens of thousands of series. I have a whole wall full of my life of reading. I would definitely recommend your book to just about anybody, whether they're a fantasy reader or not. And I say that because you tie it so beautifully into real life.
I would recommend it to people who don't normally like fantasy as an introduction into fantasy. And I would recommend it even for people who like historical fiction. Like Steph normally does, simply because of all the lore you touch on. So you've got several different genres right there.
And I thought about that when I was creating, your plot twist menu for our podcast, so we could kind of have a guide and stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head, like, I read a lot of historical fiction. Anybody who knows me knows, like, my kind of backtrack is always going to be historical fiction. And your book gave me that without giving it to me, if that makes sense. Like, it gave me that feeling of historical fiction without having to read historical fiction.
Cool.
So that was a big thing for me, because that is one of my true loves. And they will tell you, I will read a World War II book in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And yes, I read fast, and everybody thinks I skim, and I don't really skim. I just kind of read fast because my brain eats words. But I had to get that off my chest, because
for me,
I can't wait for the next book.
For me, the thing is the reason why I think that I try to be as vivid as possible is I come from a background of Hollywood screenwriting. So I've been writing for movies for about 15 years. And so that for me, it's always about how can I get it started quick and have you jump right into the story as soon as possible, because that's just that was my testing ground.
You said page 1 and bam. and it shows. I know we're praising you a lot, but I think more of that is we've really loved your book. How do you handle the most difficult scene in a book, and was it different from how you planned it?
Well, the one scene that I would consider a spoiler, and probably know which one I'm talking about halfway through. That one was a tough one for me to write because we lose some characters that we like.
Yeah.
And it was probably the hardest thing for me to do. I took about 3 or 4 days to write it. I normally do a chapter a day, and that took 3 or 4 days.
I can feel that.
So the hard part for me was doing it, and then even going back and rereading it to edit it, and then edit it again. Each time I was like actually crying while I was reading it. And so that was the toughest part for me, just to be able to get through that, because I said somebody's going to read this book and they're going to want to throw this book across the room when they get to this scene. And because I wanted to.
Almost there, if it makes you fun.
Yeah, but it was really hard to do. So I mean, that's the kind of thing that the really emotional stuff is really kind of hard to handle. But it's something that if it's making you emotional and you're writing it and you know it's going to happen, then you know that it's going to have a pretty good impact.
Yes, and it shows. Trust me. How do you decide when a piece of work is actually finished?
My writing style is where I see the movies in my head. When I write, it's a movie. And I'm typing as fast as I possibly can, and there's no pause button in my mind. It just keeps going. And so I have to type it out as fast as I can. And then when I'm done with, like I said, usually a chapter a day, I'll go back and then edit that. And then I'll go back and edit it again. And then the next day I'll start the next chapter. And I'll try to follow along in that one as fast as I can. So for me, it's really just about getting everything out and then done. So that by the time I'm almost at the end of the book, it's almost fully edited. So then what I have to do is go back and then reread it. And I'm rereading it just to look for issues. Then after that, I'll go back and reread it. And at that point, I'm almost reading it as a reader.
Yeah.
And when I'm reading it as a reader and it pulls me in, and I still, like I said, I know it's going to happen. That's when I know that it's done. Because then I'm like, wow, I just read 17 chapters. Oh, wow, this is okay. I kind of have a good idea. I've written probably 25, 30 screenplays. I've done editing work on professional movies, screenplays. And then I've done my own books. I had a previous book before Rise, which was called The Mice Storm. And then I did the Dragon Witch books and then the Pleasure Card book. And so I've kind of got a good idea of when it's done.
What was the best piece of advice you ever received, and what was the worst?
The best piece of advice was from a screenwriter friend who kind of helped mentor me. And he said, one of the things that you want to do is always go for door number 3. Door number 1 is a guy, say a guy and a girl are in the room and he's got a gun. Well, door number 1 is the guy's going to shoot the girl. Or door number 2 is she's going to take the gun away from the guy and shoot him. And then what is door number 3? What's the one thing that you wouldn't expect? If somebody comes sweeping in at the last moment and shoots them both. And that's the thing that I always try to incorporate, which is, as long as you set it up, but as long as you change things around and mix it up a little bit so that they almost don't expect what's going to happen next. I always thought that was great advice. I always try to think, what's door number 3? What can I do here that's a little bit different? Worst piece of advice is always write what you know. And I didn't know fantasy, and I wrote a fantasy. And I've read fantasy. I'm not like, I haven't got 10,000 books under my belt that I've read, but I know enough to be dangerous. And so I was able to actually pull it off.
Yeah.
And so if somebody said, well, you're not a huge fantasy fan, you shouldn't write that would be terrible advice.
I agree. So I actually have a question. How many books do you plan on being in Rise of the Dragon Witch? Or are you just going to keep writing?
Well, there's Rise, Revenge, and then Fall is the last one.
Okay, all right. So I'm waiting for Fall. I hear you.
You're waiting for Fall. And if I were to do something else, I actually might do something in the world. Yeah. But I don't think I would do it with the same characters. And it might be somebody, characters from that world. And it might be a romance book versus an epic adventure?
I was just about to ask that because you set up Tiernos so well that you've really just given yourself a playground for whatever you want after this. That's what I was going to ask, was if we were going to see more from Tiernos.
That's a possibility. The problem with me is because when I did do the whole screenwriting thing, it was never, well, I did work on the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels, but usually for me it's just jumping around from this genre to that genre to that genre. And like my Storm first book is a YA sort of kids adventure, and the Pleasure Card is a paranormal romance. And when I was in Hollywood, my spec scripts were always romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Like I was the guy they would bring in, make it funnier. Bring in the funny guy. Let's get the funny guy in here. And my all-time favorite note was from a producer one time. He said, "Can you make it 14% funnier?" And I just looked at him and I said, "I can do 13%. And he didn't laugh. And I said, "Oh, I just won't change anything and he won't notice."
Sounds about right.
Yep.
What is the one thing you wish you would have known before your publishing journey?
I really would have started the whole social media marketing thing before I did. I kind of got the books done because I just thought all I had to do was write, and then billions of people would line up to buy my books. And that is so not true.
No.
But I wish I would have started sooner. And like, it's a little easier once you've done some books and then you're like, oh, I need to start marketing this now, and I'm not even done. I haven't even started the editing process yet. So I just think that getting the word out there and getting people interested is so helpful, and it's so important to do.
You need a community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever thought about going traditionally published, or would you prefer to stay as an indie author? Because
I as an example, I used to get notes all the time from studios. Can we take this out? Can we change this? Can we bring this in? Can we make it this? And you're like, no. So the notes were, 90% of the time they were stupid notes.
Yeah.
So I never even really thought about going in and having some publisher say, hey, can we lean on this more? Can we change this? Can we add this? I already know what makes a good story, and I know how to tell a story, and I don't want somebody else interfering with that story. And it may not be perfect, but it's the story I want to tell, so I didn't even really consider traditional publishing. If somebody came to me and said, hey, here's a check, I might go, okay.
Like, we just want to, give you royalty for your book. We don't want to change it.
If you want to do that, that's fine. But I think it would also, it would probably burn me out where if again, I would write a book for them and they would say, can we make these changes? And I would be like, well, if I didn't agree with them, it would just sort of kill my soul.
Right.
And I would not be happy doing it anymore. I was not happy doing the screenwriting thing anymore. I actually had a script get purchased, and they told me they loved it and it was great, and they were so happy. And then I found out the only reason they bought it was because it was better than one that they already had coming out. They bought it to get it off the market. And they killed 2 years of my work and they didn't even use the title, which was way better than the title they had. But so I was like, all right, you guys are idiots. I'm done with this.
For listeners who want to read more in your genre, who else would you recommend?
I would recommend, if you like, for example, my book, you would like Brandon Sanderson and his Mistborn series. I'm a fan of, I've read all the books in the Game of Thrones. George R. Martin I'm a fan of his. What's the one? Tad Williams. I like Tad Williams. The Dragonbone Chair, I was a fan of that. But yeah, there is so much good fantasy. One of the things I actually want to get into is John Gwynn's series. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but I've heard a lot of good things, and I want to start on his dragon books as well.
So the last question we asked you was, would you like to ask us anything? And your response was, why are you guys so wonderful as indie authors? seriously though, it's nice for you to be doing all this, and it really does help, and we appreciate that. So what made us want to do this was I myself have been involved with indie authors for about 3 years now. I've built my platform up. It took a lot of work to get my platform to where it is right now. And I kept seeing the need for people to help indie authors, but I also saw a lot of people being like, well, you have to pay me for this. And me, myself, I get messages saying, hey, if you pay for this, I'll do this. And I felt like that was the wrong way to go about it. So we decided my main goal was to help indie authors be able to talk about their books without having to pay a cost.
No. Sorry, I'm yelling.
You're fine. No monetary gain to it. So I was speaking to Porcupine. Porcupine is more of the business person than I am, and she loved the idea. And then I was speaking to her, to Zero, I almost said Zero, and then to Rachel, and we came together and we were just like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for free for authors. So even as far as, making merch, it's not perfect merch. It's beautiful merch. That bookmark is beautiful. It took me forever to do, but I got it, and your sticker is awesome.
Yep.
But so far as, painting the books, that was something I was doing way before we ever even thought about this. Just nobody knew because it was kind of like my own little thing. So we just put it all together. That's all we did. And we were like, okay, we got a website. Okay, we got authors who need help. Okay, we need this. We got to do this. There's more and more and more we could do, but we're taking it step at a time. So as long as there's a need for us to help indie authors, we will be here to help them.
I think it's amazing that you guys are doing this. I can reiterate it again because we do need that community, like you said. We do need that support, and because it is a very lonely act to sit and write a book, and then just sit to try to figure out how to create your own graphics and create your own interesting things that you can use to market your books. And to have help with that it's powerful, because we do this by ourselves, and sometimes even like spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends and whatever don't read our stuff, and they don't check these things out and tell other people about it. So we're kind of doing it all on our own. And whenever you've got somebody in your corner like what you guys are doing, it literally just it makes me very happy that you guys are doing this, because it just doesn't happen very often. And I even try to pay it back myself, where I'll do on Threads, I'll take an indie author's book and I'll create a post for them and in Photoshop, I'll create something that I can use, and then I'll post about it. Yeah. And I'm like, other authors are not my competitors. Other authors are my friends. They are my community. And if somebody prefers their book over my book, I don't care. That was going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm going to promote them as well. And sometimes I just get the teary emoji coming back saying, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm just like, we all need somebody to help us, to support us. And you got to pay it forward. Yeah, you got to pay it forward.
Showing up and being like, oh, hey, I read your book.
Yeah. You got to pay it forward.
I have to jump in, and I have to say, Tim, I cannot believe that you thought that you were not smart enough to do what you have done, because you are one smart guy, and the way that you worded what I had read was amazing. I hope you never think that about yourself again, because it's there and it shows you know what you're doing.
Well, we all have, every one of us, I think, your previous guests mentioned the imposter syndrome. So it is something that we have. Like, my other thing too was I wrote a 20-year-old female main character in this book, and I'm an old man. And so the first thing I did, I actually had somebody who beta read my first book, The Might Storm. I sent it to her before I had done anything, and I said, how did I do? And she said, you wrote a female main character that I believed was written by another woman.
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, I mean, that floored me because I was so worried about that. I mean, you have no idea. I couldn't get my daughters to read it. But I would ask them questions. What would you say here if somebody did this? And she'd say something. I'm like, oh, I'm writing that down. but
So how
in fact, she had one thing where she goes, and I'm like, I got to put this in the last book because I forgot to do it in the first one. She goes, well, that sounds like an issue, not an ish me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to use that somehow.
I say that to her every day. I'm like, that's a them issue, not a you issue.
Yeah. But, so for me, that was the scariest part, is like doing that. But then also writing fantasy when I have not read a ton of fantasy. I'm a huge sci-fi guy. I'm a huge fan of spy thrillers. And I do like to read some fantasy. So, I mean, it was scary for me to even attempt.
So, anybody else got anything they want to add to this? Thank you. Thanks for coming. Porcupine?
No.
All right. So I just want to reiterate, this is The Rise of the Dragon Witch by Timothy K. Clark, and you should read it. And if you don't, you're missing out. I hate to tell you, you are missing the whole slew of things. You can have fun in this book. On Sunday, this will be coming out on YouTube, and if you watch YouTube, you have the chance of winning not only his book with sprayed edges, but a bookmark and his sticker that we are so excited about, and we hope you will join us on Sunday on YouTube. Thank you so much for coming, Tim, and we hope to be able to do this again with you with your next book.
Cool.
And we hope you keep us informed, and you know my email address.
Yep. And the one thing I will add too is anybody who watches this, any book that you read, even if you like it a little bit, if you like it a lot, if you love it, leave reviews, because that's the one thing that we don't necessarily often hear. I mean, hearing your guys' feedback today is more feedback that I've heard on this book in months. And so for us to even know, hey, I'm continuing with the second book and the third book and all of that, when authors find out that you like the book, it gives us that encouragement to continue. And anytime you can give any kind of feedback, whether it's a review, even if it's just a star rating, it helps us and lets us know. And most of the time, I think only about 10% of the people, really go back and give a review. And even if it just says, loved it, it doesn't have to be this certain well-written, perfect review that's, I think that this was here and you did this very well and I really love this. But it doesn't have to be a great review. If it just said, get this book or check this book out, I really liked it, that's enough. Because other people may see that review online and go, you know what, I'm going to check it out too. So if you can, for any indie author that you read, any traditional author that you read, leave that review, because that is so important.
All right, Tim. We are going to say goodbye to you for now, but not goodbye forever, because we can't wait for more. And we are going to hop into this next interview, okay?
Thank you guys very much. Thanks for doing this again. You guys are really doing wonders out there.
Have a good day, Tim. We'll talk to you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.